Okay, so we have had a mammoth jam-packed day today, but it's actually been really inspiring. A lot of the talks, I think, have come away with 4 key points. Um, and they've all on this creator day that has actually been creators also trying to speak to brands as well as other aspiring creators, have come away with 4 really, really strong points that I want to kind of go over. So firstly, and the thing that I think has come across quite clearly, especially with Grow with Vix and Katie's talks, were that storytelling is at the heart of content creation. So this is a huge opportunity for brands who traditionally wanted like a product placement. That was traditionally what Instagram was for influence marketing. But we moved beyond that now. Even with like TikTok and Reels, we want short form sound on content. YouTube has always been the place for long form sound on content that tells a story and does something emotive. But now the pressure is for that to be an even shorter content, which I think really pushes brands to think differently and brands to give creators more freedom and brands to ask to be part of the co-creation process where there are real bold implications on the way you position brands, the way you position your messaging, and the way you partner with creators to do that. So Steph from the Miclacs was talking about co-creation and long-term partnerships, how that's what he wants to see from brands. Third key for Toby, Pokemon creator, was talking about actually loads of brands can fit into my content, but you need to understand I've got to make it watchable for my audience while having Pokemon in it. There might be a niche channel, but the people watching have broad interests. But give me freedom to put your brand in there and I'll get it right. I'll find a way to do it. So I think this storytelling pressure has really challenged brands to up their game. Secondly, I think sincerity has come out a lot. And I love this idea. I think we've talked about authenticity for years, but I love the idea of moving to sincerity, especially post 2020. 2020 was a time where we had nothing to do, nowhere to go. Aspirational luxury was not what audience wanted. We wanted vulnerability, we wanted authenticity. We watched more content than ever, we liked more than ever. TikTok's daily watch time's up to 85 minutes a day for the average user. YouTube's watch time increased by 17%. People were desperate to watch content, but the content they wanted to watch was not scrolling through Instagram. It was a lot of live content on Instagram. It was lots of live streaming on Twitch. They wanted to see people authentically speaking directly to them. So that sincerity, that's something about that Katie from the Fifth talked about, Lucy Wyndham Reed talked about a lot. She did workouts from her bedroom, and like that's how she increased her viewership more than Joe Wicks, by doing workouts at home. Nicole talked about sincerity. I think it's something that we really, really need to find a way to encapsulate. The third key point that I've taken away from this is audio. So again, tapping into this vulnerability, this kind of very raw connection with your audience. You can sit there and listen to someone's voice for an hour. Apps like Clubhouse and Stereo, and then Facebook, Spotify, Twitter are all launching competitors. They are desperately trying to get into the audio space where people watch content, will listen to content for a long time in a very personal way. Stereo and Clubhouse are all about live conversations. You can get involved as a user. So it's a podcast where you can actually contribute. And that, I think, is a massive trend, breaking down the barriers of being separate from your kind of the creators you love, and doing so through audio, which is a way that normal people can get involved who do not have editing skills, who do not have access normally. And then the final point, so thanks to Jack Edwards and Rosie and Nicole for all talking about podcast, and Stephanie for Captivate for talking about Clubhouse, and Stereo. Stereo was, essential. And finally, there's been kind of a brilliant theme coming through of the power of creators. And this is where I think Sasha and Nicole have really started and ended, like bookended the day with this tremendous kind of call to arms to use content to make the world better. And I think brands and agencies have to step up. At Digital Voices, we have a rule where we do not work with tobacco or gambling brands, because that is the power of content, is it cannot be age gated. Filters change the way young women see themselves. Nearly half of young women are disappointed that they do not look the way they do in photo, like they do not look in real life the way they look online. That is something we have the power to combat now. We have the power to shape the way an entire generation grows up. We have the power to battle ethnicity pay gaps. We have the power to battle gender pay gaps. And brands should be trying to do that through content creation. If a brand can do that sincerely, and if creators can hold brands to account and force them to do it sincerely, then we can make the entire world better with the creator economy. And it sounds lofty, but what we've seen today is that it's not just a lofty, unobtainable ambition. It's a way you can do it through changing ASA guidelines. Thanks to Rufashata for her session. But Sasha did it, changing ASA guidelines, and now wants to go after the platforms. Nicole's Creator Union shows that creators can advocate for each other, share information, and transform an industry. So I think it's really important for brands to actually be ahead of this trend, ahead of this ethos shift above creators. Brands now have an opportunity to really, really shape the way people see the world by having an ethical stance and an opinion on it, and using the power of creators for something good and something positive and something sincere and vulnerable. So coming out of today, storytelling, sincerity, audio, which is all about vulnerability as well, and the power of creators, I think are the 4 key things that have been deeply inspiring. So thank you very much, IMS. It was a brilliant day. Thank you to all the speakers. All the sessions will be up online in the video vault for 12 months, so you can listen to them and watch them. There'll be a link sent round after this, probably tomorrow. So thank you to everyone for being here, and it's been a brilliant and inspiring day. I couldn't have imagined a better afternoon. Thank you.